In the human body, if the length of a bone is larger than its width, then it is classified as a long bone. The tensile stress F over A, strain delta L over L curve for a certain long bone is shown in the figure 1. Here, all the symbols have their usual meanings. First one, identify the points P and Q marked on the curve shown in the figure. Now we can see the graph. In this graph, OP part is a straight line. Therefore, P must be the proportional limit. So, P proportional limit. And we can see especially for this material has no elastic limit. Obviously, Q cannot be the elastic limit because it is the end of the curve. End of the curve is the fracture point or the breaking point. Therefore, Q must be the breaking point. Q is the breaking point or fracture point, and those are the 2 points. So this is how you can label 2 points P and Q. So you have 2 marks for identifying the point P and another 2 marks for the identification of point Q. Part 2. Assume that the long bone is a uniform rod of area of cross section 3 into 10 to the minus 4 square meters. If the tensile force of magnitude 4.5 into 10 to the power 3 Newton is applied, calculate the tensile stress on the bone. Then we know the definition of tensile stress. Stress is force divided by area. Here the tensile force is 4.5 into 10 to the power 3 newtons and the area of cross section 3 into 10 to the minus 4 square meters. Therefore, the stress will be 1.5 into 10 to the power 7 Nm minus 2. Then you have 1 mark for the this expression or idea and another 1 mark for the final answer. In the answer script, if you haven't write down this idea as an expression, you can earn this 1 mark for this substitution, but you must have substituted these values correct. If by mistake if you have substituted a wrong value for one of those, then the examiner cannot identify this as the force and this as the area. Therefore, you won't get this mark for the principal, and also if you get the final answer incorrect by a wrong substitution, you won't get this mark also. Therefore, the best idea is to write down the principle behind the expression you are going to use. Part 3. If the Young's modulus of the long bone is 1.5 into 10 to the power 10 Nm minus 2, calculate the tensile strain of the bone. Here you will have to use some tricky idea because the strain is given by usually delta L over L. You are not given delta L or L. Therefore, you will have to rearrange the expression for the Young's modulus. That is E equals stress over strain Now we can make the strain subject from this expression. Strain is stress over Young's modulus. We will have to use this expression for the calculation of the strain for this particular problem. The stress, as we found earlier, is 1.5 into 10 to the power 7, and the Young's modulus is given as 1.5 into 10 to the power 10. So we have strain 1 into 10 to the minus 3. Then you have 2 marks for the identification of the strain as stress over Young's modulus, and 1 mark for the final answer. Part 4. If the initial length of the lone bone is 25 centimeters, what is the length when the tensile force is applied? You know that tensile force is always a stretching force. Now it tries to stretch the object. Then the length must be greater than 25 centimeters. There are 2 ways of answering this question. In one method, you can write delta L over L as 0.001, that is the strain we found in the previous part, and then L is 25, therefore delta L become L into 0.001, so L is 25 into 0.001, this is equal to 0.025 centimeters. Therefore, length of the bone with the tensile force (25 plus 0.025), that is 25.025 centimeters. The second method is, you can write the length of the bone with the tensile force as L plus delta L. This is equal to L into 1 plus delta L over L. Now L is 25 centimeters, 1 plus delta L over L is the strain. It was 0.02, it was 0.001 as we found earlier. Now by simplifying this, you will have 25.025 centimeters. In both ways you can reach the answer. Whatever the method you use, you can have 2 marks for the final answer. Part B. The table given below shows the elastic characteristic of one of the lone bones of the human body. The femur, the lone bone in the thigh, obtained under tension and compression. Elastic properties of this lone bone femur is given in the table. First part, using the values given in the table above for a femur, show that for the same value of stress, the compressive strain is 1.6 times the tensile strain. In the previous part, we found that the strain delta L over L is stress over Young's modulus E. Okay, therefore now we will have to compare the strain under compression and strain under tension. Now we can write delta L over L compressive divided by delta L over L tensile. In both of these situations, the same stress being applied. Therefore, it is the same stress. I will write it as stress divided by E compressive divided by same stress over E tensile. Then stress will be cancelled off and we will have E tensile divided by E compressive. Then from the table, Young's modulus under tension is 1.6 and Young's modulus under compression is 1. Okay, the 10 to the power is the same. So now we can substitute values. E tensile is 1.6 into 10 to the power 10 and E compressive is 1 into 10 to the power, then it is equal to 1.6. You will have 2 marks for the identification of this idea, and you can have that mark only if you get the correct answer. Okay, otherwise you won't be able to get that mark also. Second part, under which condition, tension or compression, the femur is more susceptible to fracture. Use the values given in the table above to justify your answer. According to the table, we can see the stress corresponding to the fracture point. At the fracture point, under tension, it will fracture under this much of stress, and under compression it will fracture under this much of stress. Then we can see that this bone can withstand to a higher stress under compression, right? This is actually because of our bones are really made to withstand for compressions, because in our day-to-day actions, bones, especially bone on the thigh, will undergo compression, not the tension. Therefore, it is made to withstand higher compression, higher stress under compression, but not higher stress under tension. Therefore, our answer must be under tension. Then you must justify your answer. The stress at the fracture point under compression, that is 1.65 into 10 to the power 8, is greater than that under tension, 1.2 into 10 to the power 8. You can do the same justification using the strain at the fracture point. You can do the same justification using the value of strain at the fracture point. Now if you compare the strain at the fracture point. Now you can see under compression it has a higher strain and it has low strain under tensile, right? Therefore, if the bone undergo compression, it can withstand a higher strain also. Then you can use that idea also to justify your answer. Then you can say that the strain corresponding to the fracture under compression is greater than that under tension. You will have 2 marks for the answer and the justification. In order to earn these 2 marks, you must give the correct answer and the correct justification both. Okay. Part C. When a person stands on a single leg, total weight of the person creates a compressive effect on the leg. Consider a situation that one of the femur supports the entire body mass of 75 kg of a person who is walking. Consider that the femur is a thick walled cylinder of uniform cross section with an inner cavity. Its outer and inner radii are 1.5 centimeters and 0.5 centimeters respectively. For the following calculations, use the values given in the above table. Part 1. When the person stands on a single leg, find the compressive stress applied to his femur. Take pi as 3. Then you can write compressive stress is the force over area force will be the weight of the person, that is 75 kilogram, that is 750 Newton. Area of cross section will be the area of the wall of that cylinder. Then it will be pi (1.5 square minus 0.5 square into 10 to the minus 4. If you replace pi by 3 and do the simplification, you will end up with the answer 1.25 into 10 to the power 6 n m minus 2. Then you have 2 marks for the substitution, because certainly this expression was given mark in the previous part. Therefore now that will be given for the substitution, correct substitution. And if you get the correct answer with the correct simplification, you will have another 1 mark. Part 2. Find the strain corresponding to the situation in C1 above. Compressive strain it is again stress divided by Young's modulus stress, as we found in the previous part, 1.25 into 10 to the power 6. Young's modulus 1 into 10 to the power 10, because here we are talking about compressive situation. So we have 1.25 into 10 to the power minus 4. You have 2 marks for the final answer. For a human to stand on a single leg without feeling uncomfortable under ordinary standing conditions, the strain on the femur must be less than 1% of the value of the strain indicated in the table above. Hence, show that when above mentioned person stands on one leg, he does not feel uncomfortable. According to the table, the maximum compressive strain, that is the strain at the fracture point, is 1.75 into 10 to the minus 2. That is the maximum possible strain value under the compression of the bone. Okay. Now for the person to feel comfortable, the strain must be less than 1% of this value. Now we can find 1% of maximum compressive strain, that is 1.75 into 10 to the minus 2 into 1%. This is 1.75 into 10 to the minus 4. Now we can compare the previous value, that is 1.25 into 10 to the minus 4, with the maximum with the 1% of maximum compression, that is 1.75 into 10 to the minus 4. Then obviously present strain on the person's leg is less than 1% of the maximum strain. Therefore we can write, since 1.25 into 10 to the minus 4 is less than 1.75 into 10 to the minus 4, the person does not feel uncomfortable. Then you have 2 marks for the determination of 1% of the maximum possible strain, and another 2 marks for the argument. You must give this argument as an expression or in words to earn this mark, and then only you can say that person does not feel uncomfortable. You are asked to show that person does not feel uncomfortable, and for that argument, that answer to give, this argument is a must, right? Without this argument, you won't have, you won't be able to get this mark. Consider a person having all body dimensions double, including all bones, compared to an ordinary person. Let the mass of such a person be 600 kilograms. If the scaled up person now stand on one leg, does he feel uncomfortable? Justify your answer. Assume that the elastic characteristics given in the table above remain unchanged for the situation. Now all you have to do is to find out the strain for this particular person, right? Scaled up person. All you have to do is to find the strain value for this scaled up person. Okay, then we can use previous expressions that we used, that is delta L over L is stress over Young's modulus E. Now the stress will be, the weight is 6000 newtons. Now for this person all the dimensions has been doubled, therefore the cross-sectional area of the bone must also be doubled. Therefore the cross-sectional area pi r square now become pi into 2 pi r square, that is 4 pi r square. Okay, so it is 4 pi into 1.5 square minus 0.5 square into 10 to the minus 4 divided by Young's modulus has not been changed. The compression, Young's modulus under compression, that is 1 into 10 to the power 10. If you simplify this, you will find that this is 2.5 into 10 to the power minus 4. Okay, now you can do the same comparison as we did before. Since 1.75 into 10 to the minus 4 is less than 2.5 into 10 to the minus 4, the person will feel uncomfortable. You will have 2 marks for the determination of the strain of this new scaled up person, and these 2 marks can be obtained if you have substituted your values correctly. Even if you get a wrong answer for the delta L over L for this scaled up person, these 2 marks can be obtained if your substitution is correct. That is why it is important to show your calculation in an essay question. And another 2 marks for the value of the delta L over L, 2 marks for the argument also. But you must know that if you get a wrong answer for this, which is greater than 1.75, you won't get these 2 marks also, right? In order to get this 2 marks, you must find the delta L over L value correctly, right? Otherwise you can't argue in this manner, even though your answer is greater than 1.75 into 10 to the minus 4. Okay, that is the nature of A level marking, right? So you have 30 marks for the entire question.